Here's cube. And if you'd like to duplicate this cube, Command D. So Command D. Also, you can highlight more than one, and the Command D. So, and highlight all 6. Command D. So now we have a bunch of cubes. Okay. Next one that we're gonna talk about these two in a snap tools, snap to in a grid and a snap to points, snap to points, snap to grid. We have actually more than actually 2. Although I introduced only in a 2 in a snap tools. The first one is snap to grid and second one is snap to in our points. We have actually more than 2 in a snap tools. The first one is snap to grid, and the second one is snap to curves. The third one is snap to point. It is also snap to, or snap to projected center. And we have one more here, a snap to view plane. Among those 5 snap to, this one and a snap to grid, and the third one, a snap to points, are I think more actually frequently used in the tools among those 5 in a snap tool. So let's check that out, what they do. The first one, snap to in a grid. Like for instance, okay, let's say you wanna place this cube at the in a certain place that you like to place. And for instance, you wanna place this on the top of this grid, like the top of this grid. Okay, top of this grid, you wanna place it right here. Okay, don't do guesswork. It's impossible. So even if I hit 4, yeah, it's impossible. You cannot guarantee whether you place this in the cube at the right place where you desired. It's nearly impossible. So in this case, so don't do guesswork, but use this snap to grid. You can just click and activate snap to grid, or you can hold down X key. Hold down X key. See, I will the cursor change to in a circle, from a square. Hold down X, and then you can after this you can snap this grid. See, hold down X, snap, snap, snap. You can snap like that. Snap. Release X key. Yeah, it doesn't snap anymore. You can snap by holding down X key, or you just click this snap to grid, holding down X key. So when this might not be very useful tool option for creating some organic form like some creature and monsters or some like trees and mountain or rocks and those things. But when it comes to creating some, so it requires more accuracy. Okay, cars, automobiles, some machine, weapons, mass destruction, that kind of thing. That requires I mean higher accuracy. You will definitely need this in a snap tool, in a snap to grid and a snap to point. Okay, so hold down X key. So what about this one? I'm gonna select this one, hold down X key, and so this one too. Hold down X key, place like this. Hold down X key. So perfect. So these are perfect position. And what about the distance between cubes? Perfect. We provide the exactly the same, the equal amount of spaces between these cubes. The third one is called snap to points. Again, what if you like to place this, something like this, something like this. You want to align this, both this and both this, and in the perfect position like this. So it's again, it's nearly impossible if you want to do manually this. So in this case, use the snap to point. But before this, I'm gonna hit the D to relocate this pivot point. D as in delta, left mouse button, and then hold down not X, V as in Victor, V, and then oops, V, and then go to point. See point, 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 point. See point, not grids, point. This is snap to point. And then hit V. What is V? Move to, and then hold down V again. V, snap to point. See? Now it's perfect. So let's hide our grid for a while. See? Perfect position. Hold down V. What about here? Hold down V, V. Okay. Keep holding down V. Snap to point. Again, don't do guesswork. Don't do guesswork. So especially when you create some machine kind of things, you must use this snap to do your job more accurately, precisely, more professional, more professional manner. Hold down V, snap to say snap to point. So here I'm gonna hit D, delta, and the V, hold down V, and that point, and then V again, hold down V, oops, I think W first, yeah, and the V, place like this. Okay, one more, I'm repeating, select this, D as in delta, and then move that, V, hold down V, Victor, and then W to move, and at the same time, you can also hold down V, so they can place like that. So, so we done this in a very professional manner. Again, don't do like this. Don't do like this manually. It's not gonna be perfect, and especially when you create some machine things. Use snap tools, snap to grid or snap to point. So next one is the backface culling. I found this is also kind of useful. I can say it's extremely useful. Let's say I have a cube here. Let's assume that this one is a room or house or a building or something. And the thing is, you have another object or other objects inside of this cube. You can only see that sphere once you hit after hitting at your four is what in a wireframe view. Once you hit in five shaded view, you cannot see that sphere anymore. Hit four, you should see it. Yeah, five you can see. Of course, if you like to do something on that sphere, you wanna do something that the sphere you can actually face, and then you can delete that, and then you do select this sphere and then do something whatever you want to do. Or if you don't want to delete, you want to still keep those, or close the shape, close the shape. You want to delete this, and this might be useful. Use a backface culling option, backface culling option. So to do this, you have to select this cube, and if you go to mesh display, you'll find this reverse. So once you select this reverse, the surfaces of this cube turn black. The surface is kind of upside down, say upside down, all black. And after this, and go to display and object display, and it's a polygon right here, and you'll see backface culling, backface culling. So let me select this one. Oops, look at this. Looks like we're missing. Looks like there are in a couple, faces are gone, removed or deleted something. But actually not. See, you flip over, you see the ceiling, the top face is still there, still there. All walls, four walls are still there. So without actually deleting, without moving, we can still see the object inside of this cube, inside of this room. So, and then you select this, like function that you can change the scale, you can change the whatever, you can change the position, whatever. So if you like to go back to normal mode, select it, go to object mode and select this. Yeah, by the way, here's edge, vertex, face, and object. So you need to go to object mode to select whole object. Whole object in this case is a whole cube. All right, so you are in, you selected an edges, and you want to select the whole the entire of this box, this cube. So you need to right click and then select object, and then click select whole object. So you want to go back to normal mode. Just go to mesh display and reverse again. So and do we need to go to backface culling? Yeah, mesh display, reverse, and I'm going to display polygon, backface culling. Right, and the mesh display, reverse. Isolate in a selection. Although right now we have only in a few objects here. But you might have many actually objects later, many polygon primitives while making the certain types of 3D form later. But sometimes you really want to focus on one particular object, one particular polygon primitives, and then you want to hide. I mean temporarily, you want to hide the rest of things temporarily, not permanently, not temporarily. So let's say you want to work on this guy. Okay, you want to really focus on this guy, and there's some other object around this guy somehow bother you, bothersome. And what you can do, so you want to work on this guy with this guy, and shift, is that right? Shift and I, yeah, shift and I. See, we have not actually removed and deleted, no, deleted all the rest of the object, but they are temporarily hidden. So you want to work with this guy, shift and I, and hide the rest, and then you can just work on this guy. Undo, shift I, undo. So heads up display. Of detail and polycount, I already told you guys how to use that. Heads up display. So you want to find out the exact number of all the exact number of the edges of vertices of faces of all the 6 cubes. You go to a display and the heads of display and polycount. Now I will tell you the number of vertices and the number of edges and number of faces, and that all this polygon, all this cube have. And if you like to find out the some particular object, number of the polygons, number of vertices of edges of faces, that particular guy, like this one in hand, just click and select, and my will tell you the exact number of this guy, nothing but this guy, only this guy, the number of polygon that this guy has, 8, 12, 6. I think same thing, 8, 12, 6, 12. So what if you have a sphere? Yeah, this one has many, 382 vertices, 780 edges, 400 faces. This one, sphere. This one, many. Small, many. I already explained about this freeze and transformation, right there. Modify and freeze transformation. You can create your own in origin for your objects. Next, for display layers. If ever used Photoshop or Illustrators or in InDesign, you understand what layer does, what layers panels do in those graphic software. Maya also does have layers panel. So if you go to the channel box, you should see in the display on the display tab, you should see layers. Layers are there. Again, right now we have very few actual number of objects right now. So you might have many actually, probably a couple dozen, I don't know, sometimes 100, an object you'll be working with. Or display. I think it might be a good idea, smart, wise idea, to keep each object in separate layers. Like for instance, if you like to keep this guy in a layer, select this sphere and go to add channel box and go to display and the layers. Click these layers, and we have some menus here on the drop-down menu. You can select this one, create layer from, select it. This sphere has been selected, right? Instead of selecting this create empty layer, instead of create a new layer, just after selecting particular object, polygon primitive, and go to layer and select this one, create new layer from selected. This has been selected from selected. All right, we got a new layer here. So also instead of having a bunch of layers with layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, layer 12, layer 20, it's going to be very confusing. Give the some very unique name for each polygon. Instead of layer 1, you can say yeah, like a sphere. Like in case you have more than one sphere, you can have sphere 1, sphere 2, or you can give very unique and some interesting name for those layers. And then I save this. All right, this is a sphere. What about this? Okay, I'm going to go to layers and create new layer from selected. And this is the one. Double click on this. And then you can type the, yeah, just cube 01 and save. So this is cube. And this is a sphere. And this is cube. Okay. So I highlight this. I select this cube. And you will notice that there are 3 boxes. Sphere also 3 boxes, and you will see V, P, and the last one is empty. Same thing here. Sphere, we have V and P, and then this one is empty. Do you know what that means? Excuse me. V, visibility, visibility. So I'm select this. I select this cube, and what if I uncheck? What if I click on this V, visibility, cube, invisible, visible, invisible, visible, invisible. See, you can hide it while working. While working with others, you can hide it. Visible. Okay, what about this P? Next one is P. P means playback, playback, playback. So these are frames. These are frames. These are frames. How to play this one? You need to click. Of course, we don't have any animated in elements in our current scene. Even if you click in the play button, you see no animation. Yeah, absolutely no animation. But ultimately, you need to animate something, right? In this Maya scene. So what if you like to see this guy while playing back your animation? You need to keep that P. If you uncheck this one after playing that, once you play this, you won't see. See, disappears, disappears. Okay, P, playback, playback. Now see, look at this. Uncheck. After, if you hit this play button, you won't see it. You won't see that particular layer, that particular object. Visibility, and this is playback. By the way, 24 frames per second. So remember, 24, which means we need 24. You need to create 24 frames to create 1 second long 3D animation. Likewise, if you like to make a 2 second long 3D computer animation, you will need to make 48 frames. You need to engage 48 frames. Right? 10 seconds, you need 240 frames. So it looks like we see only 120 here. So what if you like to have the more than 200 or 500 frames? Let's go right here. Instead of 120, we can type the like 200. See, now we have 200. What if 500? You will need 500. You type 500. 120, 120. Okay. So although we have other options, from 5 frames per second, like if you look at those old movie like Charlie Chaplin, the black and white silent cinema, and they move kind of a little jerky, unnaturally, because they use lower frames per second to save money. So right now, in current days, 24 frames per second is kind of a standard frame per second, or movie industries and animation. Although televisions, TV, they use a 29.97 frames per second. But anyway, so this is kind of frame per second that you're going to use for your animation, 24 frames to make a 1 second long animation. So what about last box is empty. If you click this, and you will see T. What is T? T means template, which means you can see outline. You can see outline. See, you can see a contour of this object, but you cannot touch it. You cannot modify. You cannot select this. You cannot select it. Template. So if you click one more time, you should see all. This is not template. All means referenced. Referenced. See, also you cannot touch it. No one can touch it. Kind of reserved. This is kind of reserved, preserved. No one can touch it. If you see all. Uncheck, empty, you can select. Yeah, you can select and move, and then you can modify this. Yes, but once you have T, you cannot touch it. See, you cannot touch it. All also you cannot touch. Okay. Empty, yes you can. See, T, template. All referenced. Empty, normal. So again, this might be a really wise idea to keep your object in those multiple number of layers, rather than scattering the object here and there. Maybe you're seeing it so it looks so meshed, unorganized.